Right, if you've got a reactive dog, you already know the feeling. Walks are a headache, you're checking corners before you get to them, you're looking down the road for other dogs, you're crossing the road before anything's even happened, you're changing where you walk, and how long you walk for. And sometimes you come home and think, what was even the point of that? Your dog was all over the place, you were all over the place, and when you're in this position, everyone starts throwing advice at you. Take treats. Keep a distance, walk them more, avoid dogs, don't avoid dogs, socialize them more, even stop socializing them. Owners like yourself are probably just getting fed all different types of information, and half of it doesn't even help in the real world. Now I want to talk to you about one thing that everyone misses when dealing with reactivity, and that is recall. Not because recall fixes everything on its own, because it's not going to, but if your dog can't come off the environment and come back to you, you're just going to struggle. Simple as that. A lot of reactive dogs are terrible at disengaging. They can't leave the distraction alone. They can't turn to look at you when it matters. And that's why recall is essential. Because recall is not just about getting your dog to come back to you in a field. It's about being able to say, leave that and come back to me. And that's where a lot of owners are stuck. And to be honest, a lot of reactive dog owners end up living tiny lives with their dogs. The same streets, the same routes, same quiet times, no parks, no proper adventures, no freedom. And then the dog gets more and more on-leash walks because that's the only safe option. Now, I'm not saying on-leash walks are pointless because of course they have value and of course everyone will at some point need to take their dog for an on-leash walk. But I do think a lot of owners kid themselves into thinking that leash walking is enough for their dog, and it's just not. They need to run, they need to sniff, they need to explore, and no, a 40-minute on-lead walk is not the same because on a lead your dog is restricted the whole time. You pick the route, you pick the speed, you pick where they stop, where they keep moving. Even when you are having a good on-lead walk, they're still limited. So when owners say they exercise their dogs a lot but they're still reactive and still hard work, that doesn't surprise me because on-lead walks do not meet the same needs as safe off-leash freedom. Off-leash freedom is not a nice little extra thing for your dog. It's an essential part to their fulfillment and actually be a dog. This is especially important for dogs that are very interested in their environment and for dogs that get easily frustrated. Now, before anyone comes at me, I'm not saying let reactive dogs off leash and hope for the best, because obviously not, that would be irresponsible. But dogs need more freedom in their life. But before they can do that, they need training first. And recall training is the one that gives you the path to that. Because if your dog has reliable recall in any environment and any situation, and you can recall them off anything, it changes what you can do with your dog. And in the long term, it changes how much life they can have. This is where the tools come in. Because if your dog cannot disengage from things, or if your dog simply does not have reliable off-leash recall because you have no real way of communicating with them once they're out exploring environments, and this is where e-collars are a brilliant tool for dogs when used properly. And I'm not talking about just slapping an e-collar on and then just pushing a whole lot of buttons and hoping for the best. Proper e-collar recall training takes skill, building their engagement, teaching them what the sensation means and how to appropriately respond to it. Then you proof it, then you use it in real life. And the reason why this tool works so well for owners is because it gives you communication at a distance. It's a way to communicate with your dog when they're not right next to you. It's a communication tool for when the environment becomes distracting, because let's be honest, food is not always enough and toys are not always enough to override how exciting the environment is for our dogs. So when people act like this fantastic tool is cruel to use to build reliable recall, but then seem totally fine to keep their dog restricted on lead for the rest of their lives with no real outlet, that's just backwards. I would rather have my dog properly trained and properly conditioned so they can safely have more freedom. And once you start building that properly, this is where things start to change. You'll start living a less restricted life. Your relationship with your dog will get better. Your dog is going to start living a life that they enjoy, and they're going to start getting an outlet for the frustration that they have, because you should be aiming for more than just management with your dog. You shouldn't need to be avoiding everything forever, and you shouldn't be dealing with stressful walks. So if you've got a reactive dog and you know deep down they don't have reliable recall, you need to get that sorted, because it will have an effect far beyond just getting your dog to come back when you call them. And if off-lead freedom is something that you want for your dog one day, that's even more reason to get it right. And if you want help, get in touch. That is exactly what I help owners with. And if this hits home, comment recall below and subscribe for more dog training content.